Ladies and gents, if you've been following me, then you know that I've shown you multiple ways to monetize AI here in South Africa. I've shown you the website agency, I've shown you the creative agency, and I've even gone as far as to show you my own model, the AI automation agency. But today I'm going to show you something different. I'm going to show you how to build an actual app using AI, and you don't have to write a single line of code either. I'm going to show you how to build an app that you can actually sell as a service. Not only will I show you how to build it, but I'm going to show you how to position yourself to actually get your first paying users. We're going to cover what we're building, we're going to cover the tools we're going to use to build it, and obviously the monetization strategy for it. So let's get straight into it. So before we touch anything, let me show you what we're actually building today, or rather what I built beforehand to show you. It's called Zova. Zova is an AI-powered personal finance dashboard. It's built specifically for South Africans. So you can track your spending, manage your budget, watch the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and use US investments. Even ask an AI financial advisor questions in plain English. And to be completely honest, I literally just was going back and forth with Claude about an idea or an app idea to sort of like demo within a video. That video is basically this one. The idea could be anything really. I mean, it could be what you're thinking of. You could build the next Uber, you could build the next Property 24. Trust me, after you watch this video, you're going to realize that anything is possible with this. Building a real working web app that has a proper login system, a database, payment layer, and a real landing page. I'm going to show you how to build all of this without writing a single line of code. Now, before we build, I need to explain a few things clearly so that everything just makes sense and you have an understanding of what you're actually getting into. Okay, so what even is a web app? So you've got two types of app. You've got a mobile app, you've got a web app. Mobile app is, well, your Instagrams, your Telegrams, the normal apps that, you download on App Store, download on Google Play, and you can just keep them on your phone, they live on your phone. Then we've got web apps. Web apps are accessible via a browser. Get on a browser, type in a URL, log in, and well, you have access to the software. It could be on your laptop, could be on your phone, could be on your iPad. Accessibility is usually limitless. And number two, the web app is what we're going to be building today. Now, as you're aware, there has been a huge rise in terms of AI tools that are able to build websites, that are able to build these apps out. And again, the huge surge of people saying, oh no, developers are done, this and that. I mean, you know the tools, the lovables, the cursors, the VOs, the bolts, the base 44s, all of them. And to their credit, honestly, they're not that bad. They do a good job for what they're told to do. But again, that's the problem. Way too often does the result come out looking just so tiring. You can literally always notice when something is made by AI, when a website is made by AI, because the effort put into prompting these tools is just so minimal. I mean, look at this website. Or even look at this website. It just looks like the AI grabbed it and grabbed some template and then slapped your content onto it. You can always tell that it's made by AI. And so if you haven't guessed it already, we're going to be using a different tool today. We're going to be using Claude Code. We'll give it the context, business context, the design system that we need, the database setup, the database schema that we're going to need, everything in detail. We're going to give it all, and it's going to build our app for us. We're not going to have to touch a single line of code. Now, very quickly, let me explain front-end versus back-end. And so to do this, I'm going to use an analogy. We want to think of a restaurant. And within that restaurant, there's obviously going to be a dining room where people are eating, people are being served. There's forks, there's plates, and there's all this. And versus that, there's a kitchen behind the counter. This is where the payments are made. This is where recipes are made. This is where the stuff that makes the restaurant run is kept. And so we want to think of front end versus back end as the front end being the dining room and the back end being the kitchen, the behind the scenes. Front end is what users interact with, the buttons, the dashboard that they see, every little click and micro interaction that they see on the front end, everything you just see in front of you, that's the front end. Then the back end is going to be our authentications, our payment processes when a user is actually paying for something, like what's actually happening behind the scenes there. How are we authenticating our users? Is the data or the storage of that user, where is it being kept? All of this, that's going to be the back end, which is obviously a bit more complicated. But again, we're going to be using Claude Code to build both the front end and the back end together at the same time. We're not going to have to worry about writing any single line of code. So this is what we have here. And also, let me also just say this. So we're going to be using different tools here. We're going to use Claude Code, if you hadn't gotten that already. It's basically our developer. We're not going to have to touch the code, but it's going to build it out for us. We're going to use Paystack. It's going to process our payments. So when a user pays, it's basically what's going to actually help us get the money. We're going to use Supabase. That's our database where we're actually keeping, sort of like database of our users, basically. And then we've got Framer. Framer, we're not actually building on it, but as I've noticed or seen within my experience, Framer is really good at, just having really good websites, nicely designed websites. And so seeing templates from this is going to be extremely helpful and beneficial to what we're going to do, because we're going to need to build a landing page where people come and will see what the app actually does and decide whether they want to sign up for the app or not. So let's get straight into it. So we're going to open Framer. You're going to have to sign in or log in, create an account, depends what you do. Do that, and then we're going to go to resources, right? Go to marketplace. What we're doing here is we're going to be looking for templates. Again, I said design inspiration. So you can actually choose from the template categories here. So there's business, creative, community, whatever it is. I'm just going to go ahead and open the free ones. And yeah, quite quickly, you can just see really nice templates of websites that we've got here. And the thing is, you can just choose from any of these. These are all free, and you can replicate these or clone these and use them for yourself. So in this case, I'm going to pick this, right? Let's preview this. So you press preview there, just go over it. You're gonna see the app. Yep, looks good. See the app there, and if you're happy with it, you're gonna right click, view page source, okay? And you're just gonna copy all the page, the code there. And what we're gonna ask Claude to do is basically analyze it, come up with the design structure, how the website was built, and create a markdown file from that. I'm gonna explain what that means in just a second. We're gonna take the source code and bring it to Claude. We're gonna ask Claude to analyze the design structure and sort of just, take it and turn it into some sort of recipe or instruction format that we're going to be able to give Claude Code. Keep in mind, guys, so there's Claude, the chat base, the chatbot that you can talk to. There's Claude Code. Those are two different products. So don't get confused as I'm naming this stuff. And you're probably going to want to know what a skill is. A skill is basically a set of instructions that you can create in some sort of format. So if you are consistently or repetitively doing something, you can sort of like make a recipe out of that specific way you do things. So you can think of it as a design instructions, basically. Or in our case, it's going to be design instructions. And so it becomes extremely important in terms of how Claude Code is going to build. Because without the skill file, it's going to come up with something general, something like the sites that I showed you initially, those very static ones from Lovable. And that's the difference here. You can use skill files when you've got Claude Code. Now that we copied the page source from the Framer template that we had, we're going to come to Claude and ask it to make that skill.md file. And we're gonna just prompt it to, create this for us. So that's the prompt we're gonna use, and you can just hit send on that. And obviously it's going to come up with a markdown file for you. You get that, and the next step obviously is to open VS Code. VS Code is where we're going to be actually able to use Claude Code in the way that we need best. Okay, and so after we get our skill file from Claude, what we now need to do is open Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have it, you're going to have to download it. You go to a browser, somebody just download Visual Studio Code, right? And after you do that, you're going to need to open a folder. So depending on where you are, you're going to have to go to File Explorer if you're on Windows. Just create a new file, name it whatever you need. And after you create that file, we're just going to work in there. So let's open a folder here. I remember we called it Zova React. So we've opened Zova React now. We're going to make a new file, right? So we're going to type in .claude, side stroke skills, side stroke front end design, side stroke skill again. Okay. And what you're going to do, the skill file that you initially got, we're going to copy and paste it into this part here. And if you guys want to replicate my app, I will leave the skill file as a sort of guide or reference that you guys can just see as to like, okay, what's your skill file actually supposed to look like. So I'll leave that as a free resource. You can check that out in the free school community. You can join that link in the description. Join the free school community. Okay, so this is what we have here. Okay, so we've got our skill file. After we have that, we can literally now just talk to Claude Code and tell it to build the app for us, because the skill file is what we need all in all. So depending on how you want to go about it, I would recommend you sort of like work your way building the prompt with Claude, for example. So in Claude Chat, you just like say, okay, this is what I want to build. This is the app idea I have. Could you come up with a specific prompt that I can use or give Claude Code so it can build this out for me? And so you just go back and forth with Claude until you have that final prompt, which is what I did. And in this case, you see that this is my specific prompt, right? Again, I was going back and forth with Claude, not Claude Code, Claude the chatbot on the chat interface. I was just going back and forth with it like, this is the prompt that I want to build, this is what I want to build, this is the app that I need. Could you please give me a prompt that's going to be relevant enough to give to Claude Code so it can build this out for me? And so I gave it that. If you guys also just want to see it, I'll leave it as a free resource in the school community. You can check it out, use it if you want to. Yeah, so yeah, it says read the front-end design skill first, then do this for me. Building a finance app for young South Africans called Zova. Got all of that. Claude is the one that went into specific detail about what to actually build. But again, you just obviously want to just read over this and see that it's saying what you actually want it to do, right? So yeah, I send that through. And so in this case, we're building two things. We're building the landing page where users actually see the product or the software, app, whatever it is, and they decide whether they want to sign up or not. And if they do sign up, we lead them to some form. After they sign up, it leads them to the web app and they can use the software. And so that's what we did here. That's basically what this entire prompt is listing out. And so you see, it then asked for me to give it the API keys. So my Supabase API key, Paystack API key. And so for actually going and getting your Supabase key and your Paystack keys, I've left that video resource. It's very quick, very simple. You can just go check that out. It's on the free school community. I've just posted it as a video there. You can check it out and should be very helpful to you. And so that's all you're going to need. You're going to just need this. You're going to need your skill file. You're going to need Claude Code. You're going to need the prompt that you're going to give Claude Code. After you have that, everything is done. Now, let's see what Claude Code actually built after we gave it this prompt. Okay, this is the page. This is what Claude Code built for us. And quite obviously, you can see I did, this is literally, I'll probably say 40 minutes of work. So this is going between Claude and coming up with the prompt, coming up with the skill file, and going to Claude Code, pasting the skill file, and probably just prompting a few different stuff, as in like change the wording here, change the wording there. But as you can see, this is the final result. Yeah, there's this really nice sort of like tracking of the mouse with a blue. Yeah, that's really nice. Scrolling down, it created an image. I'm guessing it used Higgsfield to do this. Created an image to actually just put onto the app. Looks like this is the app that is on the phone, or a mock-up of the app. You can see Capitec, ABSA, Nedbank, FNB, all these in a ticker. I'll make Zova different. Real-time analytics. Wow, beautiful stuff, honestly. Beautiful stuff. Wow. Wow. Okay, and let's see what happens when we press download app. Should take us to the login page. I'm not getting over this tracking of the blue one. This is insane, literally. The tracking of the mouse there, really nice. Anyway. And so we're signed in, as you guys can see, this is how the app looks. And quite honestly, it's not bad for 40 minutes of work, honestly. I mean, this is definitely better than any, AI slop that you're going to see out there. For 30 to 40 minutes of work, I'm not complaining at all. Good morning, Tapua. It's a financial snapshot for Friday. Yeah, this is not bad at all, honestly. Wow, this is actually really nice. Wow. So you actually talk to the AI here. Ask Zova, AI financial advisor. Probably put a disclaimer that it's not a financial advisor. Why am I spending so much on food? Wow. Let's chat with it. Start investing on JSE. So we asked it that question and gave us this. It's really nice. You'll see different parts of the app here. So that's the web app, that's what we have. And so as you can see actually at the top here, you're going to see it says local host. That means our website is not deployed yet, it's not live. This can only be seen on our specific laptop. So what you're going to need to do is deploy it on either Vercel, Render, you choose. In this case, we're just going to be using Vercel. And so to deploy to Vercel, we're literally just going to ask Claude Code to do it for us again. To do that, obviously, initially, you're going to need to create a GitHub repo. So create a repo that's sort of like where your code for the specific project is kept. Claude Code is going to do that for you. And in this case, you can just ask it to create the GitHub repo for you. And then after that, it deploys that on Vercel, and you'll be able to see your website live. So you see, all we did was literally prompt Claude Code to deploy our website. And so once you deploy it and once it's live, you'll be able to see the website on different devices, be able to share your website. And that's basically how we built the app. So again, don't forget, you need to put your environment variables. So your Supabase URL, your Supabase anon key, and then your Paystack public key as well. If you're making this live, if you're testing, then you put a test key. And that, ladies and gents, is how to build an app with AI. Obviously, we can go into depth, keep digging deeper as to how complex you want to make it, but this video is serving as sort of a guide to, or as a start of how to actually do it the right way. I mean, the site you saw is, the app you saw is obviously completely different relative to what these other apps, these AI tools are building. And so it just goes to show you that you need to do this the right way. And hopefully this video showed you exactly how to do that. For the last one, I'll actually just say how you're actually going to get your first users onto this. And to be honest, to get your first users, go interact with people. I think the goal of building these apps, if you are to do it, is to get a very small subgroup of people to extremely just fall in love with the product. That's it. if you get a small group of people to fall in love with it, relying on a referral basis or some ripple effect of people referring the product to other people is going to be what makes your product stand out. And so I would not necessarily focus on marketing at scale initially, but rather you build this out and just get a few people on. Talk to a few people, literal conversations, people in your community, people you know, people you just think would be interested in this. Walk to a coffee shop, get someone to use it there, and let them tell you, let them give you feedback, and from there you now build and reiterate until you have a product that people genuinely love, product that a subgroup of people genuinely love. And from there, I mean, referrals are going to come in, people are going to join off of referrals. And when you see traction like that, choose to scale, because obviously from there you're going to have some sort of revenue. And so that's basically it. Now you know how to build a deployable web app. We use Claude Code to do all of this for us. We created a landing page that connected to our web app. And to do this, obviously, we had to create the skill file and come up with a prompt to go to Claude Code and give it the specific instructions that we actually needed to do. And we built this in literally less than 40 minutes. So it just goes to show you exactly what's possible with these tools. You're probably going to even do better than I've done with my app, depending on what you do that side. You can spend more time on it, put more complexity into it, and there's no telling just how much you can build or what you can build. So I genuinely hope this video did help you out, and whatever app idea that you had and you thought there was a limitation, you can genuinely go and build this out now. If you guys want to follow my journey, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, and join the school community. Got a school community that I recently opened, so go join that. I'm posting free resources there, and I'm going to be doing free Q&As on a 2-week or bi-weekly basis. So join that and become a part of our community. And with all that said, I genuinely hope you do something with the opportunity that we've been given here in Africa to build this stuff out. To sit around and wait for all these tools to pass us by, all these opportunities to pass us by, is simply just irresponsible. And so you need to be able to see the gap that's been built from this and realize that this is your opportunity to get a piece of the pie. This is your opportunity in something that's called a digital gold rush. AI is booming. AI is what people don't understand right now. And if you're able to understand it, there's going to be so much you can benefit off of. And so with all that said, as always, I'm wishing you Godspeed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.